primary school, maybe it's too early, but at least from secondary school, to make it as a subject also about the Gambian constitution. Because if you see the standard we have in now, we even having ministers who don't know what is it, and that is sinful. So the whole mixed up and discussion and so is all because of that. You hardly see a political leader or a minister who is quoting his rights or with his and using the constitution. You hardly see it, just with few, and that is showing you that many people are not informed. So for me, if you ask me, I would say it's better we try to bring it also in our Gambian curriculum. That's why it's anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice, for that insight. So I will go with Nfamara. Nfamara, what is your take on the Constitution? What is it that you think is good about it, and what do you think needs to be adjusted, if there's any? This is a legal document that we all need to contribute before 1 month, so that it can be revised again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sawaneh, for inviting us once again to discuss about very important issues concerning our national development, especially the Constitution. First of all, we want to thank the current administration, President Barrow and his administration, and of course the good job done by the CRC team, putting up this draft Constitution together. I think this is a step in the right direction. In fact, some people describe it, this is the way that we are beginning to feel the impact of the coalition, because these are some of the institutional reforms that we expect in the first 1 year, 12 months of the coalition government. So having this draft in place is a step in the right direction, because it is going to guide us how our country is going to be governed by that constitution. And obviously, it's something that every citizen should have the opportunity, to go through the Constitution, familiarize yourself, not with the whole document, but some key areas that we think are very relevant to us. And just like my other colleagues, I also did not have the opportunity, to read the whole document yet. But at least I'll browse through some key areas that I have interest in, because now we are going towards the elections in the next couple of years or so in 2021. So some of the key things that we're interested in, who can become a president, of the Republic of the Gambia, what are some of the qualifications that you need? And we have seen that, you should have at least 12 years, you should have a bachelor's degree, and also you need to have at least 12 grade 12 certificate and 12 years working experience. I'm not sure what led to that 12 years criteria, but I think those are some of the things that people are interested to know. And of course, and who can run what age do you have to have for somebody to become a president, which they say start from the age of 30. Of course, I've seen some people querying, because they say at least those who are eligible to vote, which is the voting age in Gambia, which is 18 years and above. So I believe if anybody can vote at the age of 18, should be allowed to run if the person is qualified, can run. So instead of taking the age limit to 30, why not bring it down up to 18 as a minimum? So that we give opportunity, to anybody who is eligible to vote to become a president if he wish to be. So those are some of the issues. Now, also land and environment, that's an area that I've not even started reading yet, but so far with the snapshot of what I've seen, I think it is important that, people have come out to express their views regarding how their environment should be, protected. People have the opportunity, people have the right to, healthy environment. People have the right to live in, conducive environment without pollution free. And this is something that we can tell the government if any institution or any government is doing something that is incompatible with our environmental objectives, that has impact on our livelihood, then we can pinpoint to the government and say, this is wrong. I think that's something very important. And of course, citizens also have the right, because we've seen where government projects coming into community where people's land have been taken, or people's compounds or people's houses have been demolished. Constitution given that provision that they should be compensated, and they should be compensated in a way that is equivalent to what they lost, if not equivalent to what they lost. But at least they should be entitled to some form of compensation. But we have seen that it's not happening in most part, because government, they say people have the local notion that, if government masakunda lafta minna doro ni masakunda lafta sido faral dana doro ana farate kungola karek, they will go ahead and do it. But that comes also with response. The government should be able to give citizens the options either to move out or giving a compensation. But in some areas we don't see that happening, and the constitution has mandated us as citizens to claim for our rights. I think that's very, very important. Right. And then also this 50+1, which obviously in the last constitution, 1997 constitution, I think it was simple majority. So overwhelmingly people of Gambians, have expressed this simple majority to be taken off the constitution, and which we have seen 50+1 coming in. And I think that is something very, very important. Then the other thing we're talking about is we had recently Minister of Justice talking about this parental insult, which obviously is going to be one of your topics to discuss. But I think there is a section which I had the interview with lawyer Barrister Lamin J. Dabo, that there is some section in the Constitution that is more or less similar to that kind of law that was the bill that was Minister of Justice was about to pass to the National Assembly, but then they revoke it. So I'm yet to understand full details of that, but those are some of the key things that we need to look into very, very carefully and ensure that our Constitution is reflective of the views of our citizens. I think that's very, very important. And then age limit also is open. It doesn't say the maximum limit. Anybody can be 100 years, 90 years, or 80 years. You can still run for office. So I think that's still also open in that aspect as well. So in brief, this is in what I've just read from the social media postings or seen some snapshots of the Constitution, which I had the opportunity to read through, but I did not go through the entire document to get myself familiarized. And hopefully I can do that very soon, so that I can contribute as well, especially in the aspect of land and environment.
All right. Thank you, Nfamara, for that insight. Right. So now you folks know that this is an opportunity for all the Gambians to look at this draft before it may it goes back to the CRC.
Absolutely.
You mentioned a very important point, Nfamara, which is the requirements for presidency, the educational requirements.
Right.
Now, you said something about, the second portion. The first portion says a degree, a bachelor's degree with, I believe, 6 years of experience, correct?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And then the second one says you have to have a secondary school education with 12 years of experience.
Right.
Now, this has, really been a talking point from some people that there might be a reason why that is there, because we all know Gambian educational system.
Right.
And we all know that high school, is not like back in the days.
No.
Okay. We all know how the school system is since Drammeh came. Gambian educational school system has been deteriorating. You can see somebody coming from high school with not much knowledge, not able to speak and write properly. So are you saying that because of those tendency, even though they had the 12 years of experience, that might not actually change somebody's efficiency to run the position of a president?
Yeah, I mean, that 12 years experience, is that 12 years experience working for the government of the Gambia, or it could be any work. So we need to, that also needs to be very clear. The reason why we say a head of state needs to be educated, the head of state needs to have a degree, is because some of the policies, when they come to the higher level, a president should be able to analyze and look at those policies very carefully and critically understand what it means, and then give his view, critical understanding. I mean, with a high school certificate or high school education, I mean, you might not have that capability, I mean, to understand some issues when it comes to policy issues, because you really need to understand, the economy of the country. You really need to understand, some of the, our foreign policies, that we are going through, in relation with the other countries and stuff like that. So, I mean, the person should have a clear understanding of various, policy analysis, of the government. That's why we believe, high school might not be, a level that can be able to have that capacity, to be able to, review our laws and, understand the policies very well. I mean, the 12 years working experience, I don't know. I mean, you can graduate from, grade 12. I mean, you work in a records office, for example, or you can even be a messenger in the government system. But working as a messenger or a records clerk or maybe a secretary, for 12 years, will that be opportunity? Will that be enough, to give somebody an understanding of how policies work, or how government institutions work, or how ministries and even the entire foreign service work? So if you don't have that required knowledge and capacity and experience, handling, high-level government, positions, you might not be able to contribute, positively, to critically look at some of the issues that, as a president, you will have the privilege to, review and understand, and then make a final decision on, because otherwise you might have to rely on your, your technical, experts, which obviously some technical experts might misguide you, in a very wrong way, because they feel maybe you don't understand the issues very well. So those are some of the worries that, but somebody who graduated with a bachelor's degree, the person has the opportunity to, write his own, assignments and thesis, maybe do some research, that includes, backgrounds on policy matters and stuff like that. So the person will have an in-depth knowledge on how to critically look into, research papers, policy matters, and then feedback, and even write, something. So you have that understanding of writing skills, analyzing, policy documents and stuff like that. So at that stage, probably that person, if he carefully understand those kind of policies when they come through, as a president, you'll be able to, differentiate what is wrong and what is right. So in that case, I think university degree, I mean, that's the essence of going to university, and that's the essence why we are, going to university. We are building university so we can have access to higher education, So I think somebody who is going to be the president of a country, going to decide on the fate of 2 million people, should be somebody who can actually differentiate, or understand policies very well, and decide on them and make a very good decision that is going to have an impact on all of us.
Right.
So I think that's very relevant and very important.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Nfamara. It appears that Mr. Sawaneh, and you mentioned, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. You mentioned something about you haven't read the Constitution, but you feel like the Constitution should be should meet people's expectation. And what is it that have you heard, Mr. Basiru, that you think, since you haven't read it, but you think that need to be is missing or need to be there, that you are not sure whether that thing is there or not, because you haven't read it? So what is it that you think need to be there or what do you think that, what in your mind, beside the time limit, what is it that is important to you? That's what I meant to say. We cannot hear you. You are on mute.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I think beside time limit, I think it's important also to include, like, you know, you have Gambians who are living outside the Gambia, like you, me, Nfamara, Alas, and a lot of people might have foreign naturalization status. And in this case, it was just like Alcal Conte, I don't know if you guys know him, and he was trying to apply for a position in the Gambia, but because of his, you know, American naturalization status, they said you are not qualified to acquire that position. So that also, because we are Gambians, we are Gambians. We are not, you know, Gambian Americans. That's okay. So, but the first thing is we are Gambian. So if we want to go back to our homeland and work and, you know, share our skills, experience, whatever we have, I think that's very important for the Gambians to have that, you know, kind of like, just allow us or allow anybody who wants to serve your country the opportunity to serve. There shouldn't be any kind of, you know, excuse that, oh, you went to America or you went to Sweden, whatever, you have that citizenship, you cannot have an allegiance to Gambia. So I think that has to be included in the constitution. If anybody who wants to go back to your home, your country, and you want to serve your country, there has to be an opportunity like ministerial post. But if you are qualified, you are qualified. So I don't know if that's important.
Yeah, you have mentioned a very important point. In the constitution, they mentioned that if you hold a dual citizenship, you can become a president.
Okay.
And then definitely that also, you know, translate, maybe you cannot, certain position you might not be able to hold. Now,
yeah, I think that's wrong.
And then you are saying that is an alienation to our citizens who are abroad, and then they are contributing immensely to the economy and to the well-being and to the development of our nation. So it's kind of a segregative thing that the CRRC need to look at, because if you hold a dual citizen, especially if your fourth citizenship is a Gambian citizenship, you should be trusted enough. Usually, the reason why they have dual citizenship not to hold certain position because of the trust, right? Because you might sell the country as a leader to another nation that you are, or when you steal something, you can run to the other nation. But there is a way to counter that. The counter is you have to put certain laws in place. Whoever become a president and you have a nationality of another country, or you hold certain diplomatic positions, this, no matter what happened, if you do something wrong, that country cannot be a safe harbor for you. That could be applied, and then that could be, you know, like applied in the constitution and other important documents, so that, you know, everybody will be treated fairly. But what you are saying is a very important point that the CRRC, I hope they are watching this show, need to look at, because a lot of dual citizens, you know, their citizenship was based on Drammeh. They left the Gambia because of the tyranny there, and then they came and then become a citizenship here, because when they filed the papers, they didn't know when they're going to be returning, and after certain years, there's no point but to apply for citizenship, because you cannot be staying on your residential card status forever. So nobody knew Drammeh was gonna go, you know, by now. So some of these people who are very good citizens of the country decided to apply this. It's not like you're gonna use that against them. If you wanna make an inclusive, you know, this thing for all Gambians, because somebody might even be living outside Gambia doing better than people living for Gambia, better than people living in the Gambia.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what Mr. Sawaneh meant to analyze. So before I go to Alas, I want to just point out one thing that Nfamara said. The reason why the high school 12 years is added come to some people as a suspicion. We have to hit the nail on the head. We cannot hit it on the side.
Right.
It probably intended, according to some people's perception, to accommodate the sitting president.
Right.
Because the sitting president hasn't get the degree required in case he wants to contest, which he already has shown that he's going to contest next election. So I think CRRC, according to what Nfamara said, need to look into this very carefully. You cannot accommodate a sitting president in the detriment of our nation's future. This is very important. You cannot accommodate the sitting president or anybody in the detriment of our nation in the future. Why is that important? Because if you put that clause there, another person comes, he can be a caretaker and has high school diploma, high school, secondary school education, can't even speak and write well, cannot even express himself, cannot even write, cannot even read in front of National Assembly. Has everybody, people directing him and misleading him, and our nation will be stuck again. So, and this is a constitution that needs to stay for life. So I think the CRRC also don't look anybody in the eye. Make something for the future, not to be suitable for today. So I think that's what Nfamara, that's what you meant.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I meant, actually. So I'm not sure about the qualification of the sitting president at this stage. And I'm not sure if he had 12 work experience. And that's why I say 12 years working experience as what? As it a civil servant or any other entrepreneur who has run his own business for 12 years could, with a grade 12 certificate or high school, could run for president. So the Constitution did not specify, 12 years working experience as a civil servant or as a businessman, as a hotelier, or what. So I don't see that there basically. So, but the important is that the level of education is too low for somebody to become a president with a high school certificate. I think that's too low for any country that is advocating for higher education or encouraging people who have graduates in the university and wants to contribute. Of course we say bachelor's degree, obviously. Yeah, but I think that should be the minimum requirement, or even a college, but a high school is a little bit too low. You can even say a college diploma, since we have Gambia College there, or we have School of Nursing or Gambia College, I think they're offering advanced diploma or diploma. We can probably use that. A college diploma would be, in fact, the basic requirement, like in the United States. Well, I mean, here, if you graduate from a college, a college associate degree, and basically is what, is kind of like a minimal, standard for basic jobs here and stuff like that. But I think the high school is a little bit low for a head of state, honestly.
Right. So, yeah, go ahead.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we don't know what were the consideration, but again, some people can argue that even if you have college degrees, you have a PhD, you might not be, you might also, not be as qualified based on the fact that you might not have the vision or the ideas to run a country just because you have a PhD. So some people will say that education, some people can also look at that and argue that. But again, I would rather be safe than be sorry. I would rather take somebody education into consideration, and also additionally looking at the person what the person can, the voters can also look at who else have this other criteria, like visionary, who has the right plans, who has the right stuff. Not, when it comes to that, but if you let that opening, and every time Dick and Harry come to be, apply, come to contest for election,
Right.
and we happen to get someone with such an such academic, a low academic standard, then again we as a nation become also like we will suffer for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alas, you mentioned something also about the constitution.
Yeah.
Yes, that you believe that this is the document that we need to have and to satisfy our people and our future.
Right.
Yeah. What is it that, alas, you think this document must carry, even though you haven't read it in detail? What specific things that you think must be in this document?
I mean, you quoted something about the diasporans, or was it Mr. Sawaneh?
Yes, Mr. Sawaneh said that, yeah.
This is very important. I mean, we are here.
What
They're
about the
there.
diasporas? What do you mean?
What Mr. Sawaneh said, and especially about this dual citizenship. I think what you've said is also right. They have to look at that thoroughly. Not that it's going to be disadvantage for many diasporas, because many people are out and they were forced to even take another citizenship, because, as you said, nobody knew how long Drammeh is going to stay there.
Right.
So people are here, they build their wall, they educated themselves, and they can help Gambia in a lot of things. They are doing that, so not even now, financially, because you can see how much money flow to Gambia every month from the diaspora, calculated. So it's a very good pillar that the diasporans are there, even for our economy. Because without the diasporans, I think many families will have it difficult. Even the government, because the government cannot feed all these people. So that the diasporans are playing a very big role. I think there is enough ground to consider and look at these things thoroughly. And I think many people on the ground don't support it, the fact that they are afraid of diasporas. Like when Mr. Sawaneh come and want to be a minister, so there the competition already starts from your colleagues who are on the ground, yeah, why he, not me? But he's outside, I'm here, so they happen to misunderstand that we are also citizens. We are just outside, so I think when they are doing something, must also have an advantage for the diaspora.
Right.
And with this education standard, what Nfamara said, yeah, I think after the new constitution, then everything will begin, because up to now, our way of politics and the way we vote for people is all also as old as the old constitution, I could say. We are having democracy now, and normally people in their parties, it's their responsibility to look among them whom they think is qualified for this post first. Then vote him. They are going to vote him as flag bearer for the party, because he is the person representing the whole party. So these people voting him, is their duty also to look at his qualifications and characters and something like that, to make sure that, okay, when he wins, he's going to bring the country forward, for example. So normally it should not have been even a law for it, but I mean, normally it's how it goes. So the parties vote Mr. Sawaneh, for example, because they know him more and know his capabilities and things like that, and say, okay, here is our flag bearer. The other party did the same thing. So at the end, these flag bearers are going to compete. That's what we call them the election, you know. But these are all things need to be implemented in our democracy. They are there, it's democratic, but for us, the Gambia, we could see all what we know is just freedom of speech. That's it. If you ask every third Gambian, will tell you, yeah, it's freedom of speech. And this is just like a sun con from the
Right.
whole, you know, but people need to understand what democracy really is and all these functions, you know, like what I'm just telling you, because it's happening in the whole world. Before selecting a flag bearer, it's the responsibility of the party to look who, not to say, oh, this man is good because he used to give me every time something to buy food, things like that. That is cheating. People cheat themselves because
Right.
they are helping somebody who is only selfishness, who is only thinking of himself. They try to push him up and know really that this person cannot move anything, but they'll do that because maybe that person comes around and give them $2 sometimes or give them food to eat. So in that case, they forget all their problems. If you ask the next 5 minutes, they'll tell you, he's the best man I ever know on earth. You know, and there is no democracy. You know, people need to be real and see always things, you know, with real eyes, you know. I mean, without favorism. You say, I know him because he's my uncle also, I'm going to vote him. No, your relationship is very different. You have to be fair to yourself. Okay, who is going to take the country? And I have to vote for that person. That's how it happens also in Europe. Who is the man who is going to solve my problems later? Not how he looks like,
Yeah.
or religion, or how do you call it, relationship, because people do that. And then after they complain, because the time they were voting, they were looking for other criteria. You understand? So then after they see it's not going, then the complaint starts again. That's why I want every Gambian to know and respect his voting card. We have a bright future. Voting somebody to be a president is a big responsibility. We don't want this noise every day because at the end of the day, the people who voted, are also the part of it. Because we cannot only point the finger. No, you were given the chance to vote. What is your responsibility for that, for voting? So you have to first join and think. So when it fails, then blame yourself still because you voted. You got the chance. You are given a voting card. It's your right. But I think the problem we have in Gambia is many people don't know these rights. You know, we have to bring the people and tell them this is your power. With this you can change everything in the Gambia. I mean, people start to know it. You know,
Right.
then with the age and so, I think it's okay to be there, but I think the people themselves should always try and judge for themselves who is going to be.
Now, Alas, thank you for that insight. So I have a few questions before we move on to the next topic.
Okay.
First, you know, we were talking. They talk about the diaspora vote. People have been asking questions. I am at section 73 of the Constitution. It says a person qualified to register as a voter at the election or referendum if the person is a citizen of the Gambia. If the person is 18 years old, if the person is not declared to be of unsound mind, and if the person has not been convicted of any election offense during the preceding 5 years, every citizen of the age of 18 and above has the duty to register as a voter, right? As a voter for public elections and referendum. He said that also the independent boundary, they don't call it independent, they don't call it election, they don't call it election, you know, what is it called, IEC anymore. They call it independent boundary and election commission, shall provide for and make necessary arrangement for the continuous registration of voters and conduct election which shall be designed to facilitate and shall not deny and is eligible citizens the right to vote or contest for election. Registration of voters shall cease 6 months before any public election. So that shows that even us can vote. So it doesn't show, it doesn't say anything. Only people in the Gambia can vote.
Yeah, citizens. You know, I mean, we have to be careful with only the citizens. You know, because the citizens.
No, I understand, but you know, like how Senegalese people are doing. They have you know, diasporans voting now.
Yeah, it's normal.
There is no now. I think the constitution has left it open for the independent boundary and election commission to facilitate that.
Yeah, I know that there should be a decision. I mean, whether it's too far, I don't know what the discussion was, because we signed a lot of things and sent it to the, I think, I see.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, Alas, is that we are not stopped. So it's now left. The constitution leave it open. So I'm a citizen. I'm living in the US here.
Yeah.
The point is that I need to vote. If I cannot come to the Gambia, the independent boundary and election commission should be able to provide me a way to vote.
That's right, because you see the Senegalese are doing that. Even here, many people are doing that. When it's voting, they can
okay. I just want to be clear on that. Like everybody, do anybody have any doubt on that or any question on that?
Normally, it should be okay when that is not mentioned. You know, people can vote with letter.
Yeah. Okay. And so that one is there. Now I want to also identify one thing also. They said that if you are a convicted felon, you cannot contest for presidency.
Yeah.
So
I think that was there before.
That was there before. And now the question is now, what about the situation of the some of our leaders who like have been arrested for, you know, I would specifically say the Secretary General of the UDP has been arrested during Drammeh's time. So and the Supreme Court, I believe, had stated that that arrest was that prosecution was valid. So how would this constitution affect that person? He came out for a cause and now he's been arrested. And then now he has to pay the price with this constitution if it is not overturned. I mean, if the decision of his prosecution was not overturned by the ECOWAS court where he went and filed for. So what do you guys think that, you know, would be, what do you think about this constitution having to also embark on that, and you know, the Secretary General's, you know, quest to overturn that? Does anybody has an idea? I mean, like, what do you think is the right thing to do, or what do you think? Any opinion?
I mean, that was there before, you know, so it's not something new. The thing is, you know, it's law, because saying that somebody is convicted is different from when somebody also was convicted unlawfully. You understand what I mean? Because the things that happen on the Drammeh, that's how I see it. I think it should have been different stages, I mean, from the right thing today.
So you are saying that, you know, because Drammeh's arrest of Osenu was unlawful.
I mean, I don't want to say too much because it's the law, but I'm just telling you that normally man could see that like that because it was on a dictatorship, but still it's law.
So you think he has, okay, my question is now, do you think he has a chance to fight it in ECOWAS court? And get it overturned?
I don't know, because no, I don't think, because the court is no exception for anybody.
Okay. What about you, Nfamara? What do you think?
Actually, I'll also say it was in the constitution before, right? It's not new, right? I'm not sure about that portion whether it
was there, and the fact of the matter that if you unlawfully gathered, assembled.
That's my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
But what is unlawful? That is also the question. You know?
Yeah.
You know, law can be very interesting, because if you say, Mr. Sawaneh, you did something, is unlawful, then everybody can stand up and say, oh, mine is also unlawful. So that means you can throw the whole book again. You know? So, I mean, whether it was lawful or under Drammeh will tell you it was lawful. So now we are having another government.
No, already, I think the Supreme Court said that, the Drammeh's filing is valid. Those charges are valid.
Because it's law, because you cannot say.
The only thing is,
they say Drammeh's what?
That is valid. Like the fact that he was even to jail was a violation of the law. So now he's taking it to ECOWAS court.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, since it's he has already taken it to ECOWAS court.
Yeah, that's what is going on now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's wait for the outcome of the court and see what they define by unlawful, because this 1997 constitution is what has been the problem in the Gambia, since Drammeh's time, that they are using, things that are very unlawful, on citizens, because we have seen our journalists been arrested for not doing anything, and they use the same constitution and the same clause on people. So if that the same constitution has been used on the leader of the opposition, especially the UADP and the executive, and arrested, that's something that obviously we have to, look into, or leave that to the court to decide, or the lawyers to decide on. But obviously, we feel the citizens have the right to assemble when they feel something is going on in the country that they are not happy about, especially in that case, because we all know the reason why they came out was because the youth mobilizer, which was the late Solo Sandan, was arrested, and then even the news came out that he was dead. And that was the time the executive came out, to demand, for the body, dead or alive, because that's what prompted out. It doesn't mean that, they came out on purpose to do something, but because somebody came out on the street demanding for electoral reforms, and the person was arrested and then, severely tortured, which is all against the Constitution, because the Constitution did not say that anybody arrested or lawfully guarded should be beaten to death. And the Constitution never said that. So the person should even have access to the lawyers. The person should be freed on bail within 72 hours, as said by the Constitution. So if all of that never happened, and then that led to some executive members of the party of the person, the disease, to demand for his body, then I think the 1997 constitutions was something that obviously is totally against what the government did to the citizens. So in that case, obviously, I'm not a lawyer. I know the lawyers very well. Probably they might have, better explanation to this. But in my own personal perspective, I think, we just leave the court to take its decision. If it is in the Constitution, and then it is right there, let the law take its course. And then it's up to the person who is affected to, overturn, the decision of the court, based on whatever grounds he or she has. So I think, yeah.
Right. Okay. So that so we wait for how that all come out to be resolved. But another thing in the Constitution say that anybody can be a Gambian citizen if your parents are born in the Gambia, and grandparents. Grandparents, do you think that didn't go a little too far?
Yeah, that's too far.
The grandparents bring the parents, and the parents bring the child.
So because if you look at the grandparent, parent, I understand. My kids can be the country, citizen, because if you're gonna say anybody can be a president, anyone who's a Gambian citizen can be a president or any position. Now, the grandparent might be like two generations away, and still that person has the legal right to run the country, our affairs of the country.
No, I think they mean every child born. That means not even the parents of that child, but the child born. The person is the citizen.
No. That's not what the Constitution is saying here. He's saying if you are born, of course you are automatically a citizen.
Yeah.
Now, if your grandparents are born, let's say you, Alice, your kids
Yeah.
can be a Gambian citizen.
Yeah.
That to some that is a little too far. Yeah. So these are some of the things. What do you think? Is it a little too far? Or your kids could be. That one is understandable.
Yeah, that's
But your
what I
kids'
mean.
kid, 2 generations down.
My kid's kid, because the fact that my kid is a Gambian, his kid is also a Gambian automatically. Unless his kids are born in Norway. And there is another law that he is going to be a Norwegian or see.
Now, they should probably say, unless the father, the grandfather. They cannot say that. Okay, so if let's say your kids don't want to take Gambian citizenship, they don't have a passport, they never registered.
I give you one example, Mr. Sawaneh. I have a kid, and then my kid is a Gambian. He's staying in Gambia. He's born in Gambia. He's Gambian.
No, once you are automatically born in Gambia, the law allows you to be a Gambian.
Yeah,
that one is flat.
I'm just giving you an example. But this child left Gambia then after and went to and go to USA, and there he's married and get children there. So now we have two different things.
Yeah, but
are you going to tell me the kids are Gambians? No. Only their father is a Gambian. But
we understand that, but what I'm saying, if they choose to become Gambians, all they have to prove that is their grandfather was a Gambian. They don't even have to prove their father was a Gambian.
Yeah, when they prove that, it's okay.
You think that's
because
okay?
They choose because it's choosing. Because if they want to choose, they can say we are American citizens.
Right.
Force them on. Because even we have the choice to take dual citizenship.
Yeah.
So my daughter is German. I cannot force her to be a Gambian.
So, okay, another important things that some people also said about the Constitution, it has a lot of information there that need to be taken out. Probably the culture, how our culture and norms should be. Yeah. It makes it even difficult for somebody, if you have certain misconduct, you cannot even run certain position. Like if you have corruption, I know there is a requirement for anti-corruption law, anti-corruption board. So if you have something to do with corruption, right? If you are, not, authentic, you have certain behavior in the government or certain, like Janet Commission, stuff like that. Certain things you have been accused of, you cannot run for office. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of leadership and requirements in the Constitution that certain way a leader is supposed to be. So some people are saying that maybe this is too much. They're making the Constitution like, making it forced upon people now.
No,
instead of just looking at the laws, applicable laws, they're looking at how, our make a constitution like guide our living. You understand? So I have seen some lawyers who said that some of those like leadership, like culture, those are not supposed to be in the Constitution. What is your guys' take on that?
Yeah, whether it's supposed to be or not, what I said it at the beginning, because we are saying we need to have somebody who is going to lead us and who's going to do good, as people are, the whole world is celebrating, for example, the president from Rwanda, because he's having all these qualities, maybe by luck. There are some criticism, but it's not that very serious. But the people look at him and his qualities, his qualification, and voted for him. And this is exactly what Gambians should do now. If we do that, then all these things in the Constitution, we can neglect it. We are the problems. You know why? Because we are the people who go and vote the false person because the person gave me a bag of rice before the election. I
No, alas, what they're trying to say is that they will not even give you an opportunity to run if you have even this history now. Now it looks like you have to be an Obama kind, whereby you have monitor all your movements in life.
Right.
You haven't, like you haven't do any misconduct. Before you can even be qualified. So
that's what I'm saying here. It's just a filter. It's a mechanism. You know what they
you are saying that it's okay to have those in the constitution.
Yeah, because if not, we are the people staying in the same condition today. Even if you are voted today, you will see the whole Facebook will throw you stones. Yeah, that's normal because we make the problem, and after we point a finger. That's why I started with my explanation. People should understand how powerful their voting card is, so that they don't complain after 2 weeks. You know,
right.
we have to be careful, and these all laws by the Constitution is just a guide, so that after voting we forget and say, okay, let us leave Mr. Sawaneh, he'll make it, I know, and then.
Why you keep giving me as an example? Give Nfamara as an example.
No, that's how people say. No, it's just an example. That's what is being expected. You know? The problem we have voting today and tomorrow we complain. We are the problem because we don't think twice before voting, and we don't know how powerful our voting cards are. No.
Yeah, Nfamara, what do you think?
Nfamara, I don't think he can hear.
Yeah, Nfamara, what do you think?
I think
all right, so I think he's
frozen. I think he's frozen.
He probably outside or something. He's on mute now. Alice, we're gonna exhaust this point, but the Constitution is really, is really a lot. I think once the people have given their feedback, I think they said no, December 15th. So it's gonna go back to the CRR team, and they're gonna look at people's feedback and then give,
some cosmetics.
Exactly. So adjust it and then take it to the executive, and then after they okay with it, they will take it to referendum. At that point, we're gonna have our new drafted constitution.
Yeah,
so
it's all done that way that nobody complains after.
Exactly.
They're starting to know Gambians.
Exactly.
And after start next week complaining, and that doesn't bring us any.
Now that brings me back to the point that I was saying in the beginning, which is we have to. I mean, having a constitution is not only enough, but we have to make sure that we implement it. The government in place have to make sure that it's respected, and we go by it. So now that being said, Alas, we can just move to our second segment of our program, which is the parental insult law. As you have seen, when that law came out to be presented to the National Assembly, a lot of people came out and then said, why should we have that law? Why is it that we need that pass, that if you insult an executive member of the cabinet or the president, you should be either fined or jailed? So even myself, I'm part of the some of the people who have criticized that law, and we have seen what had happened after a few days. The Attorney General Batambedu withdrew the law, and but there are still other legislation out there that they're trying to put together to take it to the National Assembly. Now, I'm pretty sure you heard about this on Facebook. What is your take on that? Do you think it is a good idea to withdraw it, and what are your reasons? And also, what about the supplementary, other laws that are there that are still that they still have to present to the National Assembly, if you know any?
Yeah, that is the number 107, I think.
Right.
I call it the 107. And about insulting somebody's parents.
Yeah.
I think that's what they want to take out. But if you insult somebody personally, I think they want to push it. I mean, when we talk of insulting alone, it's the same for all Gambians. That should not be our language. Insulting. That's what I said at the beginning. We talk of democracy, but people don't even know. We have to come to that level because all what we know is freedom of speech. You know. So what we have to know, what is very important, especially about our political arena, you should not insult the individual. You can criticize the individual, but criticize in a way that you also come out with something better. That means if I say, Mr. Sawaneh, you are not wearing your clothes very well, then at the same time, I have to give the people who are going to vote me, what am I going to do better? How am I going to wear my clothes better when I'm ruling? Things like that. That's how people agree. That's how people agree and give a better alternative. That is democracy. That is right. But you can see and observe the people. Many just criticize, but they never come up with a creative idea after that. You understand? In criticizing, everybody is expert. I don't know. We are good in that. But to come with an alternative is our problem. So we should not go too far that we even insult, not even the president, but a normal person. Why insulting? Right. Say what you want to say.
Let him go upstairs.
Whether it's going to be solved or not.
Right.
But going to the level that, insulting that person, whether he's a president or not, is not done. I think in no religion and no civilized society you can say. You know, we have to differentiate that. I've been saying that all the time. We have
now, alas, we know that insult. Insult. These people are here. These people are jumping there. Insulting. Okay. We know that insulting is among. It's not this thing in our norm, right? We all know that. But the fact of the matter is, the law is designed to protect only the certain people, and this is the argument that most of us are making. If you have a law that protects only the elected officers, then what you are insinuating is that you can insult me. You can insult me and you can insult my parents, and you're gonna walk free. So why not look into the law and trying to come up with something? I'm not saying that the norm of the laws are not correct, but also we have to also look at what get us to this point. If we have people of respect and dignity, why would we have to get to a point that the insult become unsustainable to the point that you make a law? I mean, how many countries do you know have this kind of law if they are not a dictatorship company? I mean, a dictatorship country.
Yeah, that's why I said, it's the same. So that's how I can explain it. It's the same to the whole Gambia, because insulting should not be our language. Whether I love the person or not, that is not to be found in any civilized nation. When we say it's democracy, it's freedom of speech, that's why I explained that many people can also understand what it meant by this freedom of speech. Doesn't mean that even if I see a minister or a president whom I don't like, I have to insult him and say, yeah, it's freedom of speech. No, we have to understand the border. You understand? I can use them. I can criticize Mr. Barrow from morning to evening, but I have to put my criticism on basis. You understand? And then after criticizing, I'm obliged to come with a better idea than what he is doing right. You understand? That is democracy. So we have to. I know it's something new for Gambia. We have to understand all what democracy brings. It's a new land because we don't know it. 22 years. All what we know is freedom of speech.
Now, do you think it's a good idea to withdraw that's the question? Is it a good idea to withdraw that parental law or no?
When the president come to the idea, or the minister?
No, the president didn't come with the idea.
No, I mean Tamero, no? Or
whoever,
whoever.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we have to ask ourselves, You know, why? This why is not yet answered before I criticize him, because he must also have a reason to bring us up. You understand? So we should not always be one-sided, and that is of our problem. That's why I used to say we have to join things sometimes with the head, not with the heart, not with emotions. You know, when they make it for themselves because they feel that they are disturbed with that. Barrow is also insulted many times. They even arrested some people and so. It's, you know, people should not do that. Not that I'm for Barrow or any other.
So you agree with the fact that the law should be cover everyone?
To cover everyone. I mean, in fact, with this law, for me, if you ask me, I have a critic on that.
So should the law even before created in the first place? Should we have a law, an insult law in the first place? Was it dumb?
I mean, yeah, they can put it there. It's no problem because it's going to save maybe certain people. And when we say I'm a president, they can insult how they want. In a democratic place, you see Trump, we even insult Trump from here. But you know,
because Jawara's time we don't have this. And Jawara,
yeah.
People used to insult Jawara.
Yeah, we did that till we left Gambia. You know, so it was a democracy.
Well, yeah, Jammeh's time, of course, you know, you wouldn't be mad
understand.
enough to insult him, but you know.
Yeah, for me, my only critique is we have other important bills what we've been waiting for all the time since
To pass, rather than wasting our time on this.
That's it.
Okay.
That's my critique on that.
Okay.
Because of the anti-corruption board, we've been fighting since the day one, you know. So now we are talking of the third year, and nothing happened. And this bill, I think, was also from the National Assembly long time, you know, but it's on desk, and the lobbyists are not trying to advise Barrow on that because it doesn't benefit them. And Barrow don't know the importance of that. You understand? So was given a bad advice because that was going to help him and help the economy right at day one. Then talking of other bills, which they mean is an emergency. The anti-corruption bill is the emergency. That was the first day to be done.
Right.
Nobody advised him in this occasion because it doesn't benefit them. This is my critique on it.
Okay, very good point. What do you think about the parental law, Mr. Drammeh? Parental insult law. Well, they withdraw it, but what do you think? Was it even needed to be created at the first place, or was it designed to just hunt somebody?
I don't think he can do it. He's having connection problem today.
Nfamara.
Yeah. Am I better now? Can you
yeah, but we cannot. You can hear you, but we
see.
cannot see your video.
Yeah, now we can see you.
Can you see my video?
Yeah, we can see you. Yeah, I mean we can. Yeah, we can see you now.
Okay.
What do you
cool.
think?
Well, insult in general is not something cool, and it's not something that is in line with our religion or even our culture, because we all brought up in a Gambian environment where our elders tell us that it's not cool to insult somebody, even if somebody even is on the wrong side. You don't insult. It's not part of our culture, and the religion even is not part of it. Obviously, people political lines are widely sometimes other citizens, either who are not in view of them, or in support of their views. Because that's how basically they do it. It's for all political purpose, And we know Gambia do anything to me, but if to get the right view and stuff like that. And this is what they typically using to silence, either in the government or in the opposition. But that's how they do it. And that's why some educated folks or some people who don't want to be don't want to go near politics, because they cannot just take it having a
a young, a young boy or a girl or somebody you are even older, to openly insult your mother, So that is not something that is very cool. And the reason why Bad did this, is it's not something we're not saying it's a bad law, but what makes it bad is that they only protect themselves, that the minister and the president, not the entire citizen. If insult is bad, then the laws should be able to protect the whole citizen, not just one section of, the government or government officials, or senior people in the government. It should be for the whole country. Nobody should insult nobody, mother, based on political line or whatever reason it is. Then we can take that seriously. But if they think that that's where it becomes a problem. And in 2017, Justice Minister himself, says the sedition law was unconstitutional. He mentioned that. And we know that was what Drammeh was using, against the journalists in the Gambia, that sedition law or whatever. So if he openly said that it was constitutional, why would he come with, similar, trying to pass similar bill to the National Assembly just to protect some few people in the government? So that's what is the whole thing. But, to be honest, insult is not cool at all. It's not something that we should all do. And I think Gambians need to change that in their political line, because whenever you engage a Gambian on political discussion, one or two comments, the next third comments will be an insult. It will be something that is trying to, put you away from whatever, you're trying to drag the person to in a discussion. So those are the kind of situations we face in the Gambia. And I think it's not cool at all.
All right. So that also, I think I have also something to contribute to this. What I'm trying to say is here with this parental insult law is that, when I heard about it, I posted online trying to say that, why only few? Are they better than us?
Exactly.
What make you as a government official better than me as an ordinary citizen who is actually contributing to the economy like you, who is also in the forefront of Gambian interest like you? Just because you are just because you are a minister or you are a permanent secretary doesn't make you any better.
Yeah, they just want to silence people. They don't want silence
because
people.
you are receiving a salary. You are getting paid for what your service are. It's not like you're doing it for free.
Absolutely.
In fact, us here in the platform talking about civic education are even more of somebody to commend, because at least we are not getting paid for that. We are educating our countrymen. So why would a law protect them and not protect me? So this is the scenario. It's not exactly. It's not like you condone insult. Nobody condones insult. Even not even parental insult, mere insult among peers. It's not supposed to be encouraged. But why?
Absolutely.
In this new democracy, these people want to come up, with such a thing. So I think they're trying to test the water. They're trying to test the Gambian people.
Yeah, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to test the Gambian people with, laws that don't make sense, and think we're gonna fall into it, you will hear us, because trust me, our point now is to look at everything and analyze it from the past experience and from what we think the implications are and what are the motives behind. So as citizens nowadays, we are more, concerned about our general well-being than our individual well-being. Just like how the passport issue, diplomatic passport issue came about, the same way that this is, and more laws are coming. So I think people on the ground and people who are very active in reading things in Facebook and stuff like social media, we should always be getting our facts together before we go out. But once we get our facts together, we shouldn't hold back and say, "Oh, it's not my business. I'm not in the Gambia." No, that shouldn't be a way out for us. We should always find the source, get a hold of what is the source, enough sources, and back it up with our action by coming out and telling the folks who are in charge of this, like people like the justice minister. They are there to serve us, not to serve the interests of the few.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think this is Jawara's time. You can stand and say anything about Jawara. Nobody will put you to jail. I've never seen it when I was little.
No.
You can say anything about Sirif Mustafa Deba. Nobody will jail you. I mean, of course, Jammeh's time is completely 360, but that one is a tyrant. You don't even have to say anything.
Right.
Just how he will just slaughter you when he just suspect that you are, not, you are not in his interest. So we cannot count that. But in a pure democratic, settings, we should look out for laws like this. So I thank, everybody on, on the ground, on social media, and every place who put pressure on this government, and then this minister, justice minister, to look into the interest of, let him not be pressurized by, interest group in the government.
No.
Or they are insulting President Barrow, so, or some of the ministers. So let's make sure that we hammer them. And that our National Assembly, they need to wake up. I feel like, they are very slow in digesting things and see where the executive are taking things. They are the one who's supposed to come with the laws and try to step their power. They can stop any executive measure that is not serving the interests of our country. So
absolutely,
that's why it's always important to nominate or elect people who are impartial in the National Assembly, because at the end of the day, they shouldn't be falling in for the brown envelope, because that brown envelope can really get you in trouble, man.
But
with your
Mr.
own
absolutely,
Sawaneh,
yeah,
all the legislative decision you're making today can affect a child or the future of the children coming next 20-30 years to come.
Absolutely.
Or your future.
Absolutely.
You're planning
or our
to
present future. So I think this awareness is what need to, but definitely you guys nail it on the head. So if that if we don't have much to say on that, we can go to the final draft, which is the Meet the Farmer store. I believe you guys have seen the president with a huge entourage going around, and then with what's supposed to be called Meet the Farmer store or Meet the People store. Have you guys? I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have observed certain meetings, what have been said there, what you heard, and
not all.
And what the Constitution said about that. I just want us to analyze, is this first of all, the Constitution requires it so that you can go and meet the people and see their condition and communicate with them how to better, what are the plans to better make their condition better, and to also learn from them. Okay, I know the election is two years away, if the 3 years the mandate is passed. So now what we are seeing, especially with the kind of crowd coming, we are hearing a lot of speculation that they paid some people $2,000. I mean, $2,000 is a night. Some elected officers, some people are saying that they paid some people who don't have a job, they are standing on the street or stuff like that. And then some people come out and say they didn't have food and transportation. That information was leaked, which was really not sitting well with the folks with the president. And then we also have seen in some of the meetings that the response were not really favorable. Some places people are coming out, some places people are not coming out, and some people are saying even the toad is not even aimed to to see the condition of people and analyze it and then try to give them confidence. It is aimed as a political tool, as a political way to win over voters for the next coming election. So the opposition are on the other side. I mean, I won't say opposition, but other party personals are coming and saying that, oh, the crowd is not big enough. Oh, they have paid people with them and all that. What I think we need to understand, and then of course the president need to understand, is that this is the mission of this is to meet the people. Go and see what your people are. Do they need something for their farms? what improvement would they need, get the feedback, come and then adjust. So I just want to see what you guys think about this Meet the Farmer store. Yeah, oh, you want to come first? Who want to come first, Nfamara or Alas?
Okay, I'll come because he's frozen.
Yeah, so like the people in rural areas everywhere in all corners of the country. I think that constitutional requirement obviously. It is not a bad idea to go out and listen out to people, meet them, interact with them, listen to what they say, how they go sometimes in the office or the state house, go outside, go back, and just you.
Is it where you are or?
If you are in the car, you can go out. Maybe it's covering up your signal, or you put down your window.
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
we are not hearing you.
Now it's gone again. Anyway, I can come up.
Okay, you can come, Alas.
Yeah, I mean, I found it also okay. As I saw, I didn't see everything, and I didn't hear everything what they were telling to people. Because for me, I was more interested to see that they do their duty, which is constitutional, to go around and meet the people and try to know their problems.
Alas, can you speak a little bit louder, please?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing you. Yeah.
I find it very good. I mean, the action is okay, and it's a law, so that people know there is a law that the president should do that. Because many people misunderstood also saying, he's doing that, taking our money for that, and something like that. These are the things I was mentioning at the beginning. These are all things people need to know first. But we are very quick in throwing stones without even knowing what the Constitution says, whether it's a law or not, and why. That we always try to bring the people by the reasons behind. It's normal. Even if you are a president, you will do the same thing. If another person is the president, will do the same thing because it's written in the book and must be done. So unless we change that in the Constitution, then so it's always how people see it. Many will say, oh, he's using it for his political interests and things like that. But how can you imagine? He should go there. The Constitution says that he'll go there and don't want to be friendly to the people or don't want to talk to the people because he doesn't want to be criticized, to say that he's trying to build up his party for the future or something like that. Sometimes it's very difficult. People say that. It's difficult to be a president for Gambia, really, because maybe we have these problems. Being from dictatorship to, to democracy, and people first need to, as I used to say, people first need to know what should happen, what kind of books, what kind of laws should we always follow, and how should we behave now with our dictatorship, But the only thing we know is freedom of speech, nothing more. This is also something what is very important that every Gambian should know, that is written there is a law that a president, whether it's Barrow or any other person, should do that. And the reason why they should do that, to go and meet the people, to get closer, I only find it good that many people, especially in those areas, have the opportunity to be near the president, because maybe till now they used to see Barrow only in TV. So that is also something positive, that they feel that they are also part of the Gambia, whether they went to school or not. These are the reasons why. I mean, when they use it for a political interest, they can do it because they have the opportunity, because they are there to talk to the people. But when they are there, their topic should be more concerned about what they are going to do for their projects in the future, things like that, and see at the same time the problems they have and try to save it for these people later. If not, it's okay. For me, because I don't have these political eyes, so I just see it as something okay and so, and I cannot criticize it because anybody else will do the same thing. There's a law, so I cannot say. Then we have to say everybody who does that is doing that for himself, for his own interest. And we have to take it completely out of the book.
Okay. All right. I understand what you're saying, Alas. But I will come to you in a few minutes. Nfamara, come in.
Yeah, just like Allah said, it's constitutional for a president to go around the country and meet the farmers, interact with the local people, so they have the opportunity to talk to him directly. Because sometimes the presidents could be misguided by our politicians or National Assembly members or even the ministers, that everything is okay in the provinces, we have enough water, or our farmers are doing good, stuff like that. But this is an opportunity for the president to go himself and interact with the alcalis, the local people, the chief of the region, and then meet with the local people and then see them and even realize the plight of those poor people. Because you cannot miss this when you go on a nationwide tour and you see the poor people leaving their work and then all coming to line up on the street to welcome you. That ambience, and I mean, that love that they show to the president when he comes is something that a president can always remember and have it in his mind, that, those people really are in need of support, are in need of help. And then when you are somebody who is the head of state, that you are responsible for approving policy matters or overseeing institutions, I mean, this is an opportunity for you to, get your ministers to work, or if you hear anything that, you are not satisfied with, to work on. Of course, the Constitution doesn't say when the Meet the People's Tour should be in a year, but traditionally, I think it is usually done before the rainy season, so that, basically, the farmers, we can know their concerns before the rain starts, so that the government can intervene where necessary. If it is the fertilizers, or it is the produce, or farming equipment, or whatever it is, tools, government can provide that. Or some projects that are about to start, agricultural projects, can do that, But the thing is, this has never been new. The stories that we had from farmers has never been new. It's the same story that the president had last year when he went on tour. So this is why if you look at how much money it is spent by the president for the whole entourage, the amount of money that the ministers spend on fuel, the whole presidential entourage, the amount of money they spend on this tour to meet the farmers. I mean, if I was the president today and I went last year and I know exactly what the farmers told me, and then maybe I could not solve all of those problems, or maybe solve 10 out of 50, I think this year I would say, well, I don't think I need to go. And then I think the president can say, I will divert that $11 million budgeted for me today, this year. I can use that to at least help one region or two regions with, one or two, in project activities that you can be able to implement. Either it is the fertilizers or produce or anything, provide that. Because the story is still the same. You understand? It's the same plight that these people are saying. We don't have enough water, drinking water. Our groundnuts have been selling very late. We don't have our money. Our vegetable gardens are very poor this year. There is no rain. All of those stuff. We don't have good roads. We're having problems transporting our vegetables from one village to another. All of this problem is not new. Since Drammeh time, since Jawara time, it's the same problem. Of course, the president can even go, not even on this nationwide tour. A president can even dedicate at least every quarter or every 3 months to go on a weekend, to go to Badibu, for example, North Bank region, for 2 days, go for Saturday and Sunday and come back. Instead of welcoming people from Badibu to State House for a gathering, a president can go just for 1 weekend, go to Badibu. And then next quarter, just go to URR, because that's where he's coming from. For example, he goes on an annual leave, so he can use his annual leave to meet URR people just for a couple of days out of the 4 weeks vacation he have. You know, West Coast region is very close from State House. He can just check one weekend, go to Brikama, go to Gunjur, go to Brufut, you know, go to Busumbala, Jambur, you know, Katong, you know, meet them. You know, it doesn't have to be in the expense of the meet the farmer store. So all of this can be done without even spending that money, 11 million that has been budgeted, because you don't know, ministers travel with their orderlies, they travel with their permanent secretaries, and all of those ministers are actually using fuel to travel on that, apart from the president's budget. And then when they come back, like we have seen the daily allowance, night allowance of $2,000, imagine spending 10, 14 days out there. You know, that's $28,000 per person. So if 3 or 4 or 5 people, including the drivers from each ministry, and I'm sure it's more than that. So each ministry on this tour is spending nothing less than $100,000. So imagine if 10 ministries are all gone, the permanent secretary and their directors on agriculture, the line ministry all gone. So we're talking about over $1 million is spent by the ministries alone, apart from the president's budget. So all of those money can make a lot of impact on the life of these local people. So in essence, you know, it is a constitutional requirement, but I think the story that the president is hearing on this tour is no different from what he had last year or the other previous administration had. So he should work on that. In fact, if there is a report produced out of this nationwide tour, he should go into that report and then are some of those activities that they have promised the people of Badibu that they have not done. Look at 1 or 2 things and then do that. What are the promises you made? In Jara, some of that you could not do. In Kiang, you could not do. In URL, you could not do. You can strategize on that instead of using those $11 million for a 14-day trek, which $11 million can construct a lot of borehole in a lot of communities that have water problems. Okay. Now, coming to in the combos, you know, we have problems there because the president even promised us in Brufut that his first road project is going to be in Brufut. But we have seen when the Chinese funded road projects comes, he went to URR instead. So we are waiting on him to come this time around. But unfortunately, he's not having a meeting in our village now. He's going to Sukuta. And I believe our National Assembly member will be able to highlight this to him, because the president should not also be making promises on this tour that he knows he's not going to fulfill, you know, and then people will not take them seriously, you know, because it's going to be like, because now people are so aware, because we've heard so many of these promises on this Meet the Farmer store for several times that we are going to do this, we are going to do this. Drammeh has said it several times out of that 22 years. Jawara have said it several times. And now and the Barrow is also doing the same. So how can the local community take them seriously when there's no improvement in their life and we are seeing millions of dollars is spent on this trip? You know, increasing every year. The presidential budget is increasing every year. So these are some of the situations we need to, you know, to look at. Yes, it's constitutional. It's okay for the president to go out, but you know, if you go out 1 year and you could not solve problems, you know, divert the funds to something else and then change the life of the people. And I think that will make a huge impact, and then save people's life. So that's my take, obviously.
Okay, very good insight. You have really given us some info on in terms of, like, you know, projects that have been diverted. Now, Alas also mentioned a very important point that of course this is a tour that, you know, people are, I mean, any person, any president will take an advantage of us to sell their political agenda, which I agree in most part, because I wouldn't, you know, anybody, you know, thinking about contesting next election would definitely use some kind of political tic-tacs to gain votes. But if you do it excessively and you are undermining the mission of this trip by going around trying to see and try to allocate resources according to the needs, find out what people need and then allocate those resources according to the needs of the country, not particularly what you want. So I think you guys have touched a very important point. The only thing is that 11 million is a lot of money. that could be saving lives in the hospitals. That
Absolutely.
could be taking care of food shortages in the country. That could be helping out building boreholes and drinking waters available, making drinking waters available. I like the suggestion that Nfamara was giving about having to take trips, with a small delegation to visit places like like URR and Badibo and other places, and starting to see on the ground how the people are, what is their need, because that will actually reduce costs. And not only that, that's when you're gonna really know what people's concerns are. You can't just go and have these rallies where people are dancing and then praise singing and thinking that you're gonna know the reality of what is on the ground. That is
Absolutely.
absolutely not possible,
No, it's
I
not.
mean, because people are gonna come to you and say, Baro, Mansake,
Yeah.
Itele Mulfenke, Kidate, which might not really be true, because they want to get political connection to you. They want to make
Absolutely.
sure that iya long positional dealer, iya long ko itul mujumalati, ikafo kono, nteleka nyinke ndele bi mobilize la jana, mbebola jana, mbeduna jana. So all those kind of things would actually people are looking at those things as an opportunity to exhale. So politically, so what I
Absolutely.
think the National Assembly need to even look at this. What are the most effective way to make this tour possible without having to make this like a big ceremonial thing. Maybe select a small delegation, and then deploy them, and then do a fact-finding mission. What is wrong with that? Why is it that a president supposed to spend $1 million on a tour like this, while you can just have during the course of the year you can have a calendar of schedules by visiting certain constituencies and then trying to do a fact-finding mission of their situation and how you can this thing is there. So there's a way not to politicize this. I think
Absolutely.
this whole concept of meet the farmer store, it might definitely be overused to the advantage of a sitting president. So why not
Absolutely.
National Assembly or the Constitutional Review team look into that and say, what, we're gonna have to divide in the year different section. How many divisions you have in the country? The president will make each and every part quarter make a visit to this area with a small dedication and do a fact-finding mission. Meet the people
Absolutely.
on the ground, not
Absolutely.
like a ceremonial thing whereby millions of dollars would be used, praise singing, and then trying to put us in more debt, and also trying to also undermine our electorals, and also
Yeah.
become like praise singers so they can have positions. So I think this is a very important things to consider for the National Assembly and of course this Constitutional Review team. The Meet the Farmers Tour, even during Jawara's time, I think it was really used meaninglessly, meaning that it was not used to actually do the job that people thought it was gonna do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I give you right, but we cannot have both, because we cannot say it's constitutional and it should be done, and we say okay, then no money. We must also have an option. That is going to cost is definite. Either they take it out of the book, that's why I say that, or it's tradition, so everybody can use it anyway. But we cannot have both. We cannot say it should be done.
No, I'm
There
not
is
saying
no
that,
money for
like,
it.
alas, it's not like having
I
both.
understand your
We're
point.
just saying that the
but
Constitution right now is in the phase of being revised, right?
I
So
know.
they can look at this and then make some adjustment there. It's not still passed.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, I don't think there is a lot of waste of money, because many people use it also after seeing everybody is running after barrel. Even the farmers, they throw away their working tools and try to give him this respect using their last dress, and then their last money to travel to where he is. This feeling, I know that those days when it's independence, what we used to have, this feeling to go there and something like that. And they did it with respect, depressingly. I'm not PPP or how to call it. I don't have a party, but that's my way of seeing it. And it's nice that they take him right now and wanted to see him and want to show him also their respect, whether they support him or not, to make sure that everything works peacefully, you know. But I have this sympathy that some of the farmers, they don't have that money even for transport, but they use their last changes, you know, putting their best clothes to go and attend it and say hello. That is okay, you know. So normally he should not even travel to know the problems of Gambia. You understand? We are here, but we even know the problems going on the ground, especially at those places. So normally, if we are talking of saving money, they should not even travel. They know the problem already without even traveling, going there, or making trips. The problem is known. Our problem is only we don't have the money to solve it at the moment. The grants and loans we have, we are not having everything because most of them are with conditions. For example, we need to have a construction company who are going to charge us, and then after we have to consult the EU that they sign and things like that. That's how we can use our projects. But our debts, you know, we talk about it last conference. You know, it's just like we're taking a hole, filling a hole by opening another hole, because the debt we're having and what we used to pay every month, we don't have such revenue to cover that. So what the government is going to do again, maybe to take another debt to fill that gap. And we're taking another debt to fill that gap. You have also have interest again, you know. So this money is not there. At the beginning, it was only what Barrow said was to leave even 1 month. So now they are also trying to put something that we can even live for 6 months. So it's not everything shining like gold as people see. We don't have money. In fact, we don't have money. That's why I always used to say also the ways and how we can try to save certain, like your point, Sawaneh and Nfamara, you know, you can also, I can also give you right. There are certain things we can start to save that money. For example, the 11 million to give it to the families. But we can do that, but then Barrow cannot move the tower again, you know. So it should be a decision, because we cannot have both to say, okay, because this one say that you have to do it, but at the same time, you should not take out any money. So then either we say, no, this foolish thing should be away, and take that money and give it to the farmers.
Right.
And but then you will not know their problems, and most of them will not see you live for the whole of their life because they cannot travel to Banjul, you know, which is also the other side part of the whole thing. So I think the government needs to have their compromise. You know?
Right.
We have help, the money will come later, but I think we are very. But the problem, I also give Barrow and Co, because I think the things I'm telling you now is not my duty. It's the duty of Mr. Barrow and Co to inform the public about it. Then there will be less noise. I've been focusing every time on that. You know, one time I told you, it's always better for him to take the mic from GRTS, tell the people what's going on, than talking to two, how to call it, journalists, and then they misinform one another, and nobody knows what is right or not. You know, I once said that to avoid such things. You know? What I'm doing now is not my duty, it's their duty. They should have informed the people, even about it all. That is constitutional. They have to do it and things like that. That people will understand. But right now, you have a lot of critics because many people don't even know the reason why he's doing it. They say, it's because of party, he's trying to make politics and things like that, forgetting to know that it's constitutional. Everybody who is a president is going to do that, whether he likes or not. Maybe if he says, okay, like your points, I don't have the money, I can take the money and put it there, better than, you know, because to know the Gambian problem and those areas, you don't even need to travel, you know it. That's normal. We all know. But now they try to put money in for these machines for the farmers. Maybe that's all what they have already now. But definitely, Gambia don't have money. We should not fool ourselves. There is nothing. You know, so that's why I'm always trying to say we have to see how we can stand on our feet. And this needs to be started. We have to start a lot of things, doing it. You know, even our school system should be changed also, because, and the culture, I can say the whole curriculum, because we should not always believe we have to go and have a PhD and come and sit in the bureau and write it. That is Gambian mentality all the years, and this needs also to be changed. The curriculum itself. People need to learn more skills than just writing good English and speaking good English. That will not bring us anywhere. You know, the days are gone. We don't need a lot of cracks. We don't need writers and talkers. We need doers when we want to develop the country. We need people with skills. And
Right.
this thing, we have to change the whole school system. And this is very important for the future also. And the government should also consider it.
Right. Yeah, very good point. What is your take, your final take on this? I think we are over an hour. We need to, you know, we need to come to an end of the event, I mean, of the program. But Mr. Drammeh, Nfamara, what is your final take overall, the summary of what do you think, these three topics that we discussed, of course, the Constitution, and if you can say it in a local language, it's also perfectly fine. The Constitution, the parental, you know, insult law, and of course the midday farmers. If you can summarize your point, and then we can, you know, and Alas will do it one more time, and then we'll
Yeah,
call it.
Nfamara try in Mandinka.
Okay, thank you so much. Abaraka bake Sawaneh. Nkayembe na constitution kuto nying mulong bankula loi kuto ti ngajere CRC draft constitution odale ya janjande pour muli ya jube ni ya jube mumi la consent je so foje yo coming dolu mang buko nyimbe jube bawo akaitul siata la tara fo kemening taworo ni lulu man kaitul be jube no par coming nga nyatelen election la ko dol bi jermini alon ko kuma yatale wala mu jamana nyanta kala president di bankoka ana nyanta makama nyaadi la sutola jenen abelola yo ngajira nying constitution o atandi ko momi yalon ko ye bachelor's degree soto ese keno president le anim fana ni grade 12 exam grade 12 bang même high school oti ani ni doko experience to min keda sanji tang anim fula experience di ese lo no like president yala bankoka barintela mira to min bije wolom nyente ko kake high school prodokote wala kela karamban high school ndefe wo mu kulete mi alonko a lota bakel wala kusone arimbalo mu pro kake banko nyato ko ne karambumba bang wala mu high school oti bawo ne ajube na high school grade 12B mo jamal bi je fon jida grade 12B ning sefer to neodila wala doku to neodila ko ya jube ila makamo man futa woto because na grade 12 folo amanke karambongol beti bari karambongol dolu bije grade 12 folo hankabi manko dol bondi nyoto so ndenga mira pour momi be kala na banko abe place nyinela ndenga mira o ma nyiri nyanla karawo nyanda tambila grade 12 la because wokuma mino o dalilo ke banko president nyanda kila multi mi ya lonko nin luwal safeta wala nim institutional la policy safeta masakunda la policy ni dada anyanta kila multi mi alonko ay experience soto aso kaytol jubeno awolwa bukol jubeno ay atandino wala sute mine beteata animi mam betea ko namo sute no doron ala londo mo futano doron ajita minke abe rely la molla kan wala be sembla molla kan mini alonko wala be kala la technical advisor ti anon tumando mbenga tubaw karande ngol lonne ila interest o anin kunkilin nafa do bije wolka tara wala je ni official to so dolso sta bla silo do kan atara atabe jikirin wala atabe larin wo molla bakela ko wala sike multimini yalon ko silo tandiala para sa tara wo molu kudol la bol kono min mansakunda la silul manta so ibaje la ko wosina ke kutimi yalon ko as a president bulo dundino se konole so wala tana karawon anyanda tambila makamu la mi yalon ko wala mu karambumbati wala high school yo nimboda je fana yo ko momo mi alon ko sanji tanni se so sa carte final but ni ya jube ko momo mi alon ko sa keno president wonyanda sanji tan sabal sutula so ndelanga je fana modol yaje aninte fam bo kono le ko na tara ko sa carte final sanji tanni se then nse keno president fana le sanjita ni say natara ko wakil takake wala lafta kake so ngamira amanya danna sanjitan sabo damala ka foni sanjitan sabal soro enyanta kila no president yo nimboda je fana ngajele wato carte fa wala dron hadi dan carte fa kese kilin na dron ese keno president bari ni don e ko nin keme o keme mo enyanta talulo sotolale anin kileng pour ese keno president so ngajelo fana falentala kulete mi alanko abetiata ji bakle yo korto kudo fana bije mi alanko na keno na bankol na dandangola tankanyal fana womu kulete mi alanko ay sembo nyin constitutional sembo di banko dingol lale nali kuja mi alanko analla nyanto manta surtout alla balu wala nyanto alla jata kende ala nyanto analla alla livelihood wala ma alla balu kenyati nani constitutional sembo di banko dingol lale pour iso kuonyin isa kelle isa bulano kan anim fana nim man sakunda mola palasolta wala ila kordadelta ibina kukela je constitution fana otandila ko alla nyanto lom pour man sakunda yal compensate wala so mu kulete mi yalan ko abetata je bake yo ni nata nyin ndiro lay ka nyimmi fotenden ko na justice minister alafta ko sambal don député bungoto bari nata ko nyin bay womu kulete mi yalon ko kumata bako bawo nendiro ngaje na Gambia politiko kono asembo bina warla bakila anu minika ke e ka ke dalilo min kamma e ka ke tilimbal yala kono pour ka mol deinde min yalon ko e man la fi banen diro la wala man la fi nendiro la anu wayatin mo jama ye da bonde Gambia politiko yo mol mi ye da bonde politiko to e man la fi mo ke nen so wosi falo e ka ke mol e ka ko dalilo kama pour ka mol deinde kamol fonyande ke dadun ne politiko kono yo amanya na minister da ma protect anyanda banko bela protect la bar saying alhamdulillah rabbil alamin ya ko nyim bondije wona daga kudumi yalan ka betiada bare na constitution on nyin ngam moy loya dola ngam raposono dobi jelmi yalon ko wonin ilafta min dundila ilafta mulu yala demande butum c'est loyal jube telbe minne fola woto pour que CRC nkolo so hakilo lo karola yo nimboda je president be tamantama o minna yo ngajele kulo mi alon ko na constitution e sembo di alale pour eta finti mol kan anin dobali e nyoje anin fuaro le nyoje anin na local government authorities so le nyoje min keda alkalo ni sefoldi aite la tundo la problème ol min bije a salon wo mu kulete mi alon ko constitution o sembo di alale bare nata min fo wolum president dol min di jang tay wo problème kilo mi alon ko na do ka fo president wala wo problème kilo wala bije han say problème wala man solve no so ntelanga min fo president o jeni be dala sim million tang anin killing e bo tala pour tiltang anin nani wo pour tiltang anin say taman kala banko kan wo kodo nyin man sakunda president so tanole ay problème wala solve kiyang ay problème wala solve badibu ay problème wala solve jara anin basse bankol kan anin tundol dolto combo mini yalon ko problème wol bije sanji jelo mba fo kam president wala sanji jelo e problème wol man solve nin wato dol o problème kilin wala bije so ndel kam min fo wala ndela suggestion minde wala president fon sa jiben no karnani wo karnani a fo ko mbitala nyin weekend o mbo kala badibule na bodaje arjumo ay tay sibito laaje ay na muruna dimaso anin badibun kol yemit badibun kol mimula problème o ta salon because dobije nim mole yalon ko president kanale ka parel dolke tumando nim president nata atalon na fon ko nyimmolu be batarin andu ko ke dalilu min kan wolo pour president kana souté bar ni nata safa ko delbe ko mala bimbe ko mala sama bi kay delbe teleje paratara du foirol be du mala min yalon ko wala problème ol bije bar nyimmolu min yalon ko itel political mi la interest oti place ñino wol mi la interest oti et ce président on nya finkindi problème wala min yalon ko be la tundol so nim president on nay ñin sifalake commune do ay weekend kilin jiba ta badibu ay taje anim badibu ko le kacha ay weekend kilin jiba ta kiyang awo kachaje ay ta basse ba ta fam bado tundol to tumando a fon la annual leave o kono kare kilin kono na telefula sabajibe anim basse tundol be se kachano lo annual leave o fon kono combo a studiata state house studiata combo la asa bono jele weekend kilin jening combo kata tra state house at the phone so no ata carton ata juru ata food ata sabiji ata jamburu ayta birkama ay mitino keje anin kombon kol ye mitje ayta foñi anin foñin kol ye mitino keje den foñin kol la problème o minti den abalon nale watara amang tilitan nin nani beta kata banko be murmur because wo tilifula visit o abe o tilifula use la sembo to wala ba no mansula ko jama ba be la fa mansula o entora jama ba be la because sambe tending ministre bulale secretary official bulale ye ministre to jama bulu permanent secretary lu anil no malankolo ministre be tamako ministre be to kan bi anu be nga moy hamari bala mitino to ako minister o minister iman ke politicien oti wala me iman politiko no den ibete ite man ke moti mi alon ko nyenta ida bulala nyimma sekunda la ko kono so we atandi la ko nyim mid de facto de amanke ko kata fuaro da ma
He's done.
Alas, that's a very important point that he was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I know you point to important. Eko Ahmad Baye Menfo.
ha den kulete mi alon ko place o sambala no wala nyinde ko ministre nyanda kala politicien on lati amad bay wala tandi so sa so ari do ko min kala coming ni agriculture montara tamakan bar ndan ko doron ete president wala agenda tamande kan dana itam minister kendol so wollum kultimi yalon ko da bondi nyanta o separate lale nin ko meet the people so me dada
Yeah, he keep
He's going. Anyway, he's talking.
Yeah, it's almost done.
Very good point.
Yeah.
ko alas
Yeah. Okay, Nfamara, thank you. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Now you're coming. You can hear. Hello?
Okay. So what am contribution to that? In you meet the first ko de jam bat wo ko jam wala nga kato musul makoy wala nga badi bu musul makoy wala nga fo musul makoy pour ila balu nya so soneano ko niaji be ko min kan mutol mi yalon ko ka president no janni minister la normal kolo anila dokulalo e ka ko min tin e ka ko min inata fana ka padiya mol ning alawan night alawan sol min fana claim niya jube minister o minister
okay. Yeah, maybe the location is that so yeah.
So I can try it maybe.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah, in Wolof.
Anyway, Lindong Moy about the constitution, that is English. A very constitution being bo ASB. So lolu foog naa ñu bari xam nañ ko bi tegaay dañ defoon tour di dem di laaj nit ñi lan lañ ci war a bind constitution bi na mooy li nga xam ne mooy nekk ëllëg bi nga xam ne fala suñu waay yëpp di nekk amoon nañ ko waaye dafa màgget loolu tax ñu ne ñu defaat ko bu ees ñu teluwaay yu bari ñu ci dañ màgget so loolu tax ñoom nit ñu def tour di laaj nit ñi lan mooy seen xel ñu gën a xelal te ku nekk am na lu mu ci wax ku nekk am na lu mu bëgg xam waaye bi ñu waxee ak ñoom ñu bind ko so yooyu yëpp ay ñëw na nekk lu waa OS ci bug ñu ko ooyee suñ constitution mu nekk bug boo xam ne moom la ñoo dund waaw lu waay ci nekk so loolu lañ doon discuss am tam point yoo xam ne Mr. Sawaneh tam indi na ko ak Famara yoo xam ne xëy na ñi dëkk fii certain rights yi war a am nit dëkk fii tam am seen passeport taxul ne tam nekkatuloo Gambia dañ tey pour ñun ñu nekk ci biti am that right daal somehow te soo ko seetloo ñu nekk ci biti ñoo dee help a lot Gambia so it's not fair pour wax leen ne yéen doo leen Gambia te ifi kayit la rek moo tax suñu time Jammeh nit ñu bari daxut génn so ñooñu dañ nekk ne duñ Gambia dañ tey Gambia la so anyway léegi nag ñoom tam dinañ seet naka la ñoo def lu ñoo mun a correct daal because ñu bari wax nañ ne it's okay waaye ñu bari am nañ ci luñ cee wax so ñoom nañ seet naka la ñoo mun a def pour ñëpp kontaan daal du easy nag so ba pare li nga wax tam mooy bil bi Batambiru yóbbu woon pour ñu def ko loi ñu wécci ci dara daal te dafa mel ni comme yëfi saaga pour loolu bu mu amati ba pare su amee kooku nañ ko jàpp loi am loxo ci moom nit ki comme soo saagee ndey nit ki so loolu nag tam mu ngi nekkoon discussion ci suñ conference bi fii because ñu bari ngay wax ne waa lu tax ñoom rek nit ki su waree nekkal loi dafa war a nekkal loi ñëpp mu nekkal loi président bi rek ak Batambiru so loolu moom tam it's a point waaye dama ne rek generally loolu warut a nekk sax suñ làkk waruñoo toog sax because dafa ruslu sax pour ñu toog di discussion as civilized nation as Gambia because loolu kenn waru ko waxee loolu nekkul ci religion nekkul ci civilized society sax pour language using that su fekkee ne man li ma wax mooy su fekkee da nga criticize politicien bi li ñu wax ci démocratie mooy mun nga criticize waaye soo paree yow itam nga wax yow loolu mun a def lu gën li moo def loolu mooy démocratie waaye nekkul ne rek di saagande di jam xeer loolu démocratie ñun nag ñu démocratie dafa ees si ñun moo tax ñu bari xamuñ nag li ñu war a def ak loolu te ñun li ñu am ci démocratie benn tey ñu bari dañoo wax ne rek freedom of speech mooy lu la neex nga wax waaye lu la neex nga wax boobu leen nag amuñ naka nga ko war a defee loolu tax na saaga yi bari confusion bi bari so ñun li ñoo def nii fi nekk mooy pour try sax nit ñi gën a leeral nit ñi what's going on bi te kenn defu ko normally joobi politicien yi la ba ñeneen ma GRTS because mu ngi am ci yeneen dëkk yi ñu ngi ko def te nit ñi su fekkee ñu war a xam dara nekkul ne danga dawa moom rek ci school bi because ñu bari Gambian lañ waaye damuy school waaye through civic education mun nga leen a leeralal lu bari ñoo xam tam seen civil rights waaw loolu ñun ñoo def nii nag tam one of those things pour dimbale ni ba pare ñu ngeen doon discuss tam ci president store bi nit di tugo store bi ci moo def loolu nag ñu bari ñu ci am luñ ci wax ak ay critique waaye ñun li ñoo won nit ñi mooy loolu sax lu waala li moo def waaw ku ci nekk président it dina ko def te loi bu yàgga sax boo xam ne président bi pour mu génn gis nit ñi ni ñoo sonné mbaa lu mu leen mën a dimbalee ñu demee noonu so ñu bari ñu ngi wax ne nag président bi tam ñu ngi koy jël pour political advantage te fu naa loolu ku nekk sax moom tam noonu laa def waaye soo ko seetloo li tax loolu nekk constitution mooy nga xam ne comme ñoom li ñoo bitee noonu di sabar mun nañoo sabar ba pare enjoy but then after nit ñi dañ war a ñëw ak seen problème wax ko su ko defee moom président bi tam jël mic bi tam promise leen naka la ko defee ak su ko mënut it mu note ko down xam ne lii mooy problème yi ñii waaw loolu moo tax loolu nekk ci constitution waaw whether they using it for the right thing is another question so loolu la donc wax man suma part mooy I'm very happy pour gis ne sax ndeysaan ñoo xam ne sax ñu ngi bàyyi seen day bi dem daw pour gis président bi te suñ ko defut duñ ko gis sax ñoom xanaa ñu gis ko ci télé bi te dañoo li mën a ñëw ba bàyyi ñoo xam ne ñu ngi jël seen last mbuba sol ko pour dem attend. It's very good, you know. Waaw lu nekk na ak nit ki ni ko gisee man noonu laa ko gisee nit te aw ma parti bokkuma ci politique xëy na suma bëti man naa ngi gisee noonu yu ñeneen ñi du gis that's the thing waaye it's okay man naa don't say anything su fekkee li ma promise nit ñi tam def na ko and take it serious because that's the reason looloo tax mu génne def tool bi pour déggal nit ñi li ñoo sonna seet naka laa ko solve I wish him nag ne mun na ko sol yàlla may ko doole tam li ma promise mu mun koo def kon ñëpp kontaan anyway ma gàttal ko foofu li tey yàgg na ñëw man sama amatuma time to make Mr. Sawaneh I think that's okay.
Yeah.
As a summary.
Thank you, Alas. And we lost Mr. Drammeh there, Nfamara. But yeah, wonderful talk show. Again, the aim of this talk show is to sensitize our Gambian and friend of Gambians about the civic responsibility of our elected officials and then the Gambian citizens. We all have our quotas to play, and then the most important things is come here every 2 weeks, and we discuss the burning issues and also what are the areas that we feel like our citizens need to know. It is very important we sensitize our people so they can make right decision when it comes to picking their leaders and when it comes to elections, so that we will not be held anybody responsible but ourselves and the people that we put out there. So there are other issues like environmental, women's rights, and other important issues like fishery. We will sometime come up here and discuss those like forestry, anything that is going to contribute to our society and our community to make sure that we have a better life, and then provide paved way for the people coming after us. It is all essential. Remember, we are the ones with the vote, and we are the ones who choose who to vote for. Don't allow your vote to be influenced by money. Money is temporal. You're gonna just use that and then it's gonna go. But the decision that the person that you put there, the decision that person is gonna make on your behalf is more critical, because one decision can affect the lives of many millions. So let's keep our heads up, Gambians, and I know that there is hope. There is hope for the country, and then there is hope for Africa. It's only when we come together and leave our difference behind, speak one voice, and then come as a united front. If you see United States is powerful today, it's not because it's one country. Look at the white people, how they operate. If you see, AU and all this, so that should be a symbol for us. If we don't come together as one, starting from our country level, to become one Africa, there wouldn't be any, definitely source of power. One country cannot do it. You don't have the muscles. You cannot meet with China, to go for, like something. You cannot meet in the world stage as one country. You no. But if you say United States of Africa, then you can muscle up with China in Japan and other countries. So we have to consider. They say that charity begins at home. So in our country levels, we have to start coming as a united front. Be conscious about our environment. Try to sensitize each other. Let us not be selfish. If you have information that will make another brother or another sister better, share it. Let us all be critical in our thinking. Let us not be driven by ignorance or by money or by politicians who are not going to tell us the truth, and then keep repeating the same mistakes. Doesn't make sense. So with that, I thank everyone for watching us. Check us out Sunday coming next. We're going to be with you live at the same time. And we thank our viewers, and I hope you carry the message that you've learned here and share it, and then share this program with other people. Alas, thank you so much. Nfamara, thank you, and Mr. Sawaneh also so much.
Okay, take care.
Take care. Bye.